You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also download the podcast wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. This one against the Hawks has been smooth sailing all night long for the Clippers. See what I did there? Smooth sailing. Really nice win. The highlight of the night, Kawhi Leonard back. And I got to take credit for predicting his return almost identically when I predicted. Exactly. I said first of the year. Missed it by one game. But it was really nice to see him back on the floor for a variety of reasons. We'll get to what Kawhi Leonard brings to this team. We'll get to the night defensively, and we'll get to the ball movement, which was just fantastic for most of the night. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, as I said, it was a different kind of energy at Intuit Dome for the Clippers tonight, where Kawhi Leonard had never played before. That was pretty cool to see him out there. There was minor bit of speculation that maybe he needed to get used to it. He went 3 for 3 to start from beyond the arc. That was very nice. The Clippers are now, or they will be here in a few minutes, 12-2 at Intuit Dome. So they got it rolling over there. It was also nice to see Norm Powell get things rolling right out of the gate, because he's been not hot of late. Rather cold, actually. 5 of 23 over the last 2 games, but he made his first basket. One other thing I want to get to real quick. I want to apologize for what happened last time out, and I really don't have any excuses. I don't know. Technically speaking, something went south, and I was overmodulated, distorted throughout the entire program. So for those of you that, weathered the storm, if you will, I appreciate you. I apologize. I'm sorry. I do not know what happened there. It has never happened before, and I could not backtrack and see what went wrong. There was just a glitch in the system that night, and best I can tell, we're all good tonight. But if you guys on YouTube are noticing me sounding like garbage, overmodulated and distorted, please don't hesitate to tell me. BC, that's your job. Where were you a couple of nights ago? You were in there for a second. I think you left to go watch the the Laker game. So tonight, this one's just about in the books. Clippers cruising here in the second half. They pretty much were cruising all night. Really, the only part of this game that kind of went a little south, where we were maybe a little frustrated, was right at the end of the first quarter, because they went on a 16-0 run. They led by 15, gave it right back, which the Clippers are notorious for. It was 29-28 Clippers right at the end of the first quarter. So that was one of those things where you're like, all right, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come. You know, when you look at the Atlanta Hawks, they didn't have a lot of their guys, but Trae Young can fill it up. That guy is not afraid to shoot from anywhere on the floor. Those threes that are a good 5-7 feet beyond the arc are pretty crazy. He finished with 20 to lead the Hawks. DeAndre Hunter also had a nice night with 18, 4 of 11 from beyond the arc, 6 of 16 from the floor for him. The Clippers, another good thing about getting Kawhi back was the defense seemed to take a step up. Active hands, just making life difficult on the Hawks, passing, stealing, all of that stuff. The Clippers were locked in defensively. They were locked in offensively. They were running the break, which was really nice to see. and they weren't really turning the ball over as much as they're used to turning the ball over. That was another comfortable positive for them. 17 turnovers on the night, which is a nice number. That's below their average. So that was another good thing. I thought Zubac had a fantastic performance as well. Offensively, defensively, another huge double-double. 18 points to go with 18 boards and 4 assists. They really had the ball moving well tonight, and a lot of that was due in large part to the return of Terrance Mann. So you get Kawhi back and you get Terrance Mann back, and both of those were very, very noticeable. Terrance Mann, not necessarily out there to be a scorer, but tonight he was, and passing the ball, facilitating. Perfect night for Terrance Mann. So big return for him. He was 5 for 5, had 2 threes for 12 points. Amir Coffey also locked in 29 minutes, 5 of 14, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc for 17 points. Those numbers weren't quite as percentage-wise as high as you would expect based on the kind of night he had. He was hitting clutch shots and has been very, very clutch at Intuit Dome, which is nice to see. We'll share those numbers with you here in a little bit after the break. One of the things that I was happy to see is that the Clippers were able to adjust and roll with the quick pace that the Hawks play. They're one of the fastest shooting teams in the league. By that, we mean that they get over the midcourt line and shoot early in the shot clock sooner than most teams, as this one has gone final now. 131-105 as the Clippers improve to 20-15, 12-6 at home, but more importantly, 12-2 over their last 14. The Hawks are now 500, 18-18, and 9-10 on the road. But yeah, they play fast. They shoot early in the shot clock, and I think the Clippers had a tough time for a little bit getting used to that. They were kind of giving them those open looks, and again, a good percentage of them were from Trae Young, who takes shots from places that most people do not take shots. So I thought they adapted well. There in the third quarter, there was a little bit of stagnant ISO, not moving the ball. But again, they adapted well to that, and they rolled with just about every little minor issue they had. I mean, this one you come away, again, 131-105, and you think that this is what we can expect, hopefully, moving forward with this Clipper team. What we at least hope they will become on a regular basis now that Kawhi is back. He adds so much to this team, and it was another big thing for them to put this one away early so Kawhi could sit. He only played 19 minutes. Zoo was in there 32 minutes. Harden played 29. He was sitting for a good portion of the fourth. Norm Powell was down early. Chris Dunn played some nice defense, had 1 basket, only played 13 minutes. So I think it's going to cost him a little bit of time on the floor, especially when Amir Coffey is shooting the ball the way that he is. And I'll tell you about those numbers at Intuit Dome for Amir Coffey right after the break. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. 131-105. Win number 20 for the Clips. They're 12th at Intuit Dome. We'll take the break, come back into the bucket list, and I'll tell you how hot Amir Coffey is at Intuit Dome. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs, of course, right around the corner. They'll be here in a week. It's not too late, though, to get on the regular season action. One more game. There was a couple today. You got more tomorrow. So get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can finish the regular season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways to pick up a W, betting on which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, thrilling, good stuff there. So make sure you download the app or go to the website, fanduel.com, to join today. That's fanduel.com. Of course, they have live betting as well. You can decide, is this field goal going to be good? Are they going to score on this drive, etc.? That live betting is a lot of fun. So do it on the app or go to the website, fanduel.com. And don't forget, if you use the code LOCKEDONNBA, you get $250 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Clippers with an easy win tonight. Never really in doubt. 29-28 after the first quarter, but from there they started to pull away with a big second quarter, 45-26. Clippers leading at the break by 20, 74-54. As we said, Amir Coffey did not start, played 29 minutes, hit 3 threes, perfect from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a plus 18, and 17 points. He is shooting 58% from the floor at Intuit Dome and 53% from beyond the arc. Tonight, those numbers probably come down just a little bit. Again, he was 5 of 14 and 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, but he is a reliable source for getting points, and that is nice to see. At the break, Clippers again up 74-54. They were shooting 54% from the floor and 45% from beyond the arc, and only 7 turnovers. As I said, Kawhi Leonard in his return hit his first 3 threes, his first 3 buckets at Intuit Dome for 9 points, and Norm Powell leading the way for the Clippers with 17. Harden, I think, is going to settle in nicely with Kawhi Leonard back on the floor. It is a relief for him to not have to score as much. I know he likes to score, but I feel like since he's joined the Clippers, he wants to be a facilitator, and he was proving that tonight. So let's hope he can keep that up, because he had 13 assists in the first half, which was one shy of his career mark at any point in a half, with 13. So the record 14, one shy of that. He finished the night with 15 total assists and only 4 turnovers. Again, for James Harden, that's pretty good. So all in all, a nice performance from him. Kawhi finished 4 of 11, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. The 2 free throws he missed, he was fouled beyond the arc. He was shooting into the wall. So Brian Seaman and Jim Jackson were speculating if that was throwing off Kawhi as well, or maybe the silence was too deafening. They couldn't quite figure it out. But yeah, he's definitely got to get used to it. He played very well in those 19 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and just 2 turnovers for 12 points. Here's tonight's bucket list, the top 5 shots of the night. Of course, Kawhi in at number 5, hit a wing 3 at the 9:53 mark of the first that tied the game at 5. It was his first bucket of the night. He went on to make 2 more in the first half, to be 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. For number 4, Derrick Jones Jr. had an alley-oop dunk from James Harden that was highlight reel worthy at the 4:42 mark of the first. It was a rainbow pass from Harden out beyond the top of the key. Jones Jr. elevated and flushed it down. It was fantastic. One of those ones that will get you out of your seat. If you haven't seen it, go find it. There was a few of those highlight reel alley-oop dunks tonight. 4:42 mark of the first, it made it 20-14. For number 3 on the bucket list, Norm Powell hit a 3 at the 9:31 mark of the second. It was a much-needed basket. After a 3 from the Hawks, it made it 39-35, and right about then, the Clippers started to pull away. So it was a catalyst basket for them. And number 2, James Harden hit a 3 at the 7:50 mark of the third and put the lead back up to 20, 84-64. And for number 1, Terrance Mann dishing to Nicholas Batum, or Nico Batum, for a dunk right at the end of the third. Terrance Mann just made a fantastic pass. He was penetrating on the baseline, and Batum was crashing through the lane, and Mann found him. It was a beautiful little pocket bounce pass, 23-second mark. It made it 98-76, and that would be the score at the end of 3. Clippers led by as many as 27 in this one. So everything was going well. The third quarter, they got a little lazy at the start of the third, and it's understandable, right? They were up 20. They didn't have really, wasn't probably a whole lot of yelling, probably a lot of high-fiving going on there in the locker room at the break. There wasn't any real motivation to come out and play energized, fired up basketball. As a matter of fact, the third, they did win the third 22-24, but they didn't shoot the ball well at all. They got it a little bit in check right at the end of the third, going 9 of 20 in the third. But it was by far their laziest quarter. Ball got stuck. It just wasn't moving around. There was a lot of James Harden doing his ISO thing. And there was one point, I don't think it was in the third. I'm pretty sure it was late in the first. Harden not passing, over dribbling, trying to draw that foul. And I sometimes I just get really frustrated with that whole play. And I appreciate that the referees sometimes just aren't falling for it. In spite of James Harden trying to draw that foul, in spite of James Harden falling, he's always falling. And a lot of times it's worthy of the call that, he has drawn the foul because, somebody's trying to close out on him and they came too aggressively, and he does a nice job of sticking that leg out without drawing the foul on himself and going to the ground. I feel like it's dirty pool to a certain extent. I know he's the best at it and it works a lot of the time, but there are times when it doesn't. And I think it's probably a liability as much as it is a benefit. In this particular situation at the end of the first, tried that play, went for the three, fell to the ground, missed the three. Hawks get the rebound, and they've got an easy run-out basket because Harden's laying on the ground. Not that Harden's a big-time defender or anything, but it just doesn't seem to me like it's a good play. It just seems lazy. I mean, maybe it's just him being strategically wise, right? And in the end, he's going to keep doing it, whether I like it or not. I'm just not a fan of that play. I wish he would just try to stand up. It might make him a better shooter. It almost feels like he is planning on falling after he shoots that three. Now, he did draw a foul tonight doing that, at least one, if not more, but he was only 3 of 4 from beyond, or at the free throw line rather. So he didn't get a lot of free throws because, again, he had 15 assists, and that's what we like to see from James Harden. Keep up that. Keep going down that road, finding guys, making passes. Some of them were a little wild and crazy, penetrated into the lane and did what would you call that? I guess it's a 180 because he was heading to the basket. He whipped around with his left hand all the way back to the point. Coffey caught it, but was caught off guard, couldn't get off a good shot there, and it just seemed like it was a little bit frivolous. It was a little bit wild. But at that point, they were up big, and it didn't necessarily matter. So I do appreciate James Harden not trying to fill up the basket tonight. I appreciate him going out there with the mindset of, I'm going to pass. And there was, nice ball movement all night long. It was just very, very positive, and it was a good feeling. It was like exciting, easy basketball to watch. Usually these blowouts are boring. Right? I thought this game was fun to watch because there was just so many highlights happening, so many positive things with Kawhi Leonard coming back and Amir Coffey playing well. Kevin Porter Jr. played well. Derek Jones Jr. had a nice game, 6 of 11 for 12 points. Kevin Porter had 15, going 6 of 7, and some athletic plays from him in the lane, elevating, getting some of those alley-oop dunks from Harden. There was just so much. And Terrance Mann, 16 minutes, 5 of 5. He played really nice time in this short amount of time. Very active with the ball. You could tell he was happy to be back out there. And he's a big-time factor for this team. As to whether or not he's going to start, they said it'll be situational between him and Chris Dunn. Derek Jones Jr. also has been starting of late. So he came off the bench tonight. So I think they have decided according to the pregame presser with Ty Lue saying that, yeah, it'll be situational as to how we get those guys into the starting lineup. And, it's probably going to cost Chris Dunn a few starts. I don't know that Amir Coffey is going to get the start very often. Maybe, again, depends on how it goes situationally, but he probably feels like he's your sixth man moving forward here. And Derek Jones Jr. is going to rotate in on starting. Kevin Porter Jr. will come off of the bench. But the bottom line is it looked good tonight. A feel-good, dominant win, crushing the Hawks 131-105. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast. I'm Pete Fox on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. All right, tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast also brought to you by Game Time. When it comes to buying tickets, take the guesswork out of it. Use the Game Time app. Great deals. It's not just for sporting events, concerts, comedy, theater, all that stuff is available there. They have so many cool features and great deals on Game Time. I was just checking it out before the program, and I noticed that if you're a last-minute person, and it's a good way to save money on tickets, Ram tickets for tomorrow, $45. Now, even if you're not a Rams fan and you've never been to SoFi, it's a spectacular venue. $45, it might cost you more to park, so use an Uber or something. But it takes the guesswork out of what it's going to cost you. They have a switch that you can toggle on for all-in pricing, so you don't get any fees at the end. And probably my favorite feature on Game Time is views from your seat, so you can see exactly what you'll be seeing. And that is big time. Sometimes you can save a few bucks by going one section over, and it really doesn't change much when it comes to the view. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA, $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Well, it's game time. Well, the Clippers take care of business in this one, 131-105, with Kawhi Leonard returning to the floor. No more San Diego Clippers. It's the LA Clippers for him. His first minutes at Intuit Dome, played 19 minutes, 4 of 11, 3 of 5, hit his first 3 threes, had 12 points. The plus and minus ratio for the Clippers tonight, huge. 22 for Kawhi, 25 for Zubac, who again had 18 points and 18 boards, 4 assists to go with it. Plus 10 for Harden, 10 points, 15 assists. Plus 28 for Norm Powell, who had 20 to lead the Clippers after 17 in the first. It's a little shy, but again, it was nice to see him get going. He was 50% on the night, 8 of 16, 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Excuse me. So yeah, the plus minus was super solid across the board, as you would expect in a big comfortable win like this. Let's see what's coming up. I know they're off tomorrow, being Sunday. We'll be doing Locked On Clippers postcast on Monday the 6th, as they'll be off to Minnesota to face the T-Wolves. That is going to be a good game, 5 o'clock. So be ready for that one. Tomorrow, though, we got Locked On Chargers postcast. That game starts at 1:25, and it's meaningful to them. If they can beat the Raiders, they'll be the 5 seed and play Houston, which is a much better matchup for them versus the Baltimore Ravens, who they will face if they're the 6 seed. Anytime those Harbaugh brothers start facing off against each other, they start overthinking everything, and it's just not good for the Chargers. So we'll be on here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel right after the game to break that one down, and hopefully it's a win for the Chargers again. Monday for the Clippers at Target in Minneapolis to face the T-Wolves, who are not quite the team they were last year. 17-17 this year. They are in the middle right now of a 3-game losing streak. They lost to the Thunder, they lost to the Celtics at home, and they lost in Detroit against the Pistons. So nice opportunity for the Clippers to get a big win there against the T-Wolves in Minneapolis at Target. But tonight, big night in the assist department. That was one of the other things that you felt really good about going into that Oklahoma City Thunder game. Jim Jackson predicted that in order to win that game, they would need to have a big night with assists. And they started off very well. Again, they had a good first half against the Thunder and then absolutely fell apart. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that Norm Powell couldn't make a basket and they weren't moving the ball. They just did just about everything wrong that you could do in that second half. But tonight they had a total of 36 assists and 16 dunks, both season highs for the Clippers. So you put that together with only 17 turnovers. They caused 15 turnovers, and that's an easy win. That's a dominant, comfortable win that you have to feel really good about, and positive vibes tonight after this one. Not a lot to complain about. I think everything is looking good. The future is bright for this team now that Kawhi is back, and having Terrance Mann back is also big for them. I mean, he's not a big superstar. He's a guy that averages 8 points a game and a steal and a half a game, and if he can get that kind of action on a regular basis, you're like, hey, we're winning with Terrance Mann. Tonight, did he have, what do you have? 1 steal. So just below his average, but points-wise, he was above his average with 12 points as he averages just 8. I'm trying to get on NBA.com to see how the Clippers did in points in the paint, because that was a big source of scoring for them tonight. Again, a lot of highlight reel plays and nice passing with all the assists. Harden with 15 of them, finding Porter Jr., finding Derek Jones Jr. above the rim. It was a lot of good stuff. They also had a really nice night in the fast break department. The biggest lead was 29 for the Clippers, not 27. They went on a couple of 16-0 runs, 4 lead changes in this one. As far as points in the paint, Clippers had 74 points in the paint versus 40 for the Atlanta Hawks. That is a dominant area, dominant statistic for them. Second chance points pretty even, 8-7 in favor of the Clippers. And the fast break points. And remember, as we talked about early in the show, the Hawks are the fastest team to get the ball off in the shot clock. They like to run. They like to not waste a lot of time moving the ball around. Clippers tonight beat them in the fast break department 46-14. So all is well in Clipper Nation tonight after this dominant 131-105 win. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you guys all the time. And once again, I apologize for the audio difficulties we had last week. I trust that everything went smoothly tonight. 131-105, the final. Back at it on Monday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Will be here right on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel to break it down for you. So make sure you join me right after the game. Again, they tip it at 5 Pacific. Win number 20 for the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard's return, 131-105, the final. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take